Board grading rubric for Biology 1401. What you'll notice here is that you can get a maximum of 10 points on each of your discussion board posts. And the way you earn those points is a combination of when you post, what you post, how involved it is, how much effort you put into it, and then also how you post. So the grammar, the professionalism, what you sound like in your post. Each of these three categories is going to be graded on a level between poor to excellent. If you get excellent in all three of the categories, then you'll earn all 10 points. A few things I want to comment about. It is very important that you get your first post up before midnight on Thursday. Remember that so that you can read each other's posts and make comments, kind of like a real-life conversation in class. If you wait to post everything until Saturday, there's no way that everybody can read the other posts and get comments up and have a good discussion. So that first criteria, the timely discussion contributions, if you get that first post up before midnight on Thursday, you can earn between 2 and 3 points for that. If your first post is after midnight on Thursday, then you'll either earn 0 or 1 point for that category. And the difference between those two is how many posts you have. So if you've got one post only and it's posted after midnight on Thursday, then you get 0 points in the category of timely discussion contributions. If you have 2 to 3 posts, but they're all done after midnight on Thursday, you can earn 1 point. If you have several posts that are distributed well throughout the week, meaning they're not all on the same day, then you can earn 2 points. And then if you've got 3 to 4 posts that are very well distributed throughout the week, so they're not all on the same day, then you can earn 3 points, which is the maximum for that category. The next criteria would be responsiveness to discussion and demonstration of knowledge and understanding gained from the assigned reading material, and then also whether or not your post encourages future comments and is insightful and thoughtful. So this category has to do with how much time you put into this. Most of the posts will have some sort of outside research that you need to do before you comment, and it's pretty obvious based off of your posts if you've done that research and how much of it you've done. Try not to repeat yourself or the other students if at all possible. There are some posts where that's unavoidable. There's going to be some repetition, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're not exactly saying the same thing where you copied and posted from another student. You don't want to do that. You wouldn't get any points for that. But you need to show that you understand the material. So instead of just copying something from a website, like a scientific website, you need to paraphrase it into your own words. If it's obvious to me that you did not paraphrase it, that you just copied and pasted it, you will lose some points in this category, the responsiveness to the discussion. If you ignore the questions I ask you and go off on a tangent, then you could lose some points in this area. If you don't answer all of the questions, if I specifically want all of the questions answered and you don't answer all of them, then you could lose points. There will be some discussions where you don't need to answer all of the questions. I'd rather you just picked 1 or 2 and kind of went into depth on 1 or 2 points, and I'll indicate where that is. So it'll be pretty clear to you what you need to do to earn the points here. So to get your maximum number of points in this category, it needs to be very obvious that you read the material you were supposed to read and that you understood it. Also, your posts need to be insightful and thoughtful, so you need to put some time into it, and they should encourage further discussion. So if they're kind of, point blank ended comments where nobody knows what to say back to you or what to comment back to you, you wouldn't get as many points as if you actually opened up and started a conversation where other students can kind of chime in and discuss a topic. That's really what we're going for here. And then the last category is grammar and professionalism. And what we're looking for here, this is very important to me, is I don't want you to have grammatical errors, or at least not an excessive number of them. I don't want a lot of typos. These posts need to be professional, they need to be well written, and they really, ideally, should read like a college graduate. They should not sound like a high school student who's texting a post. These should sound professional. So when you are answering these questions, I would treat it almost like you would a job interview question. Job interview questions can be kind of random, and some of these discussions are going to be kind of random. But treat it seriously. Try to sound like you know what you're talking about. Try to sound professional. Try to sound intelligent. And so to do those things, you don't need to have a lot of grammatical errors. So there's a category, there's a range here. You can get 0 points in this category if you have poor grammar or a whole bunch of typos where it's hard to read what you even put put up there. If it's unprofessional, if there's very thoughtless comments or something that's antagonistic on purpose, that's kind of the bottom level, the poor level of achievement. Average would be a moderate amount of grammatical errors and a couple typos, but it just doesn't sound professional. It doesn't sound like a college graduate. Once you get up to good, that means you have very few grammatical errors and very occasional typos. Still not quite sounding like a college graduate, though. That might sound more like a high school student. And then excellent would be no grammatical errors, or at least very, very rarely. Well-written post. It reads like a comment from a professional. It sounds like somebody that graduated from college and is going through a job interview, and they're answering this question very intelligently and very thoughtfully. So this is how you're going to be graded on your discussion board rubric. The very first couple of discussions, you may get lower points than you're anticipating because you're trying to kind of catch on to what I'm looking for. I will try to put comments in your grade so that you can check and see why I took points off. If it's not obvious to you, then definitely email me and we can discuss it, because I want you to understand what I'm looking for so that you can earn all of your points on these discussion boards. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.